Welcome to Smart Wine Cellar. In this series, I'm going to take you on a journey building the smartest wine cellar in the world, which is light controlled for every single bottle.
Welcome to Smart Wine Cellar. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about smartwinecellar.xyz, which I released last week. After you created an account and entered your Cellartracker details, all your data from Cellartracker is automatically being pulled to smartwinecellar.xyz, and this dashboard is being shown. So what you could do here is to see your total inventory. You could see your total value. Just by clicking here, you could also change the currency. So if you have multiple currencies in Cellartracker, this one is converted to one single currency. You see how many bottles you have ready to drink, how many that are maturing, how many that have passed the drinking window, and how many which have a status which is unknown. All of these are clickable, so if you click on ready to drink, it will take you to a smart table, which is where you could use search, but you could also choose on which field you would like to sort on. But let's talk a little bit more about this later. So let's go back to the dashboard. In this chart, you see the last 12 months. You see how many bottles you bought and how many you have consumed. By clicking on one of these, it will also take you to a smart table, which is searchable, and also you could choose on which column you would like to sort on. On the right hand side, you see the wine status. Here you see like absolute numbers on exactly how many bottles there are, but on this one you see a percentage view instead. And if you hover one of them, you see how many bottles there are as well. A little bit further down on the left-hand side, you see which bottles that are maturing the coming years. It will take the 5 closest years. And on the right-hand side, you see the drinking window ending the coming years. And you could, of course, click on any of these ones to see a detailed list of those bottles. The wine rack functionality is for you to have the virtual wine rack with a visual overview. So you could choose to see, for example, the best vintages, and by hovering one of the bottles, you will get more detailed information. And if you click here, it will take you straight to that bottle in Cellartracker. You could also click this one to choose a random bottle, and that will just pick a random bottle from all the wines in your wine rack. To be able to set up this one, you click on the settings icon for the specific location, and here you could set how many rows in your wine rack you have and how many columns per row it exists. And if you scroll down, if you have multiple locations, you will see those ones as well. To be able to get this nice overview, you actually need to do something in Cellartracker. You need to set the location of a bottle. So in Cellartracker, you see here that my location is C13R01, which means column 13, row 1. You could also write it as row 1, column 13. Doesn't matter in which order you have this one in. So use the way that is best for you. If you haven't set up an order, for example, in my wine fridge, I don't really have any order of the bottles because the wine fridge is not that big. Then you will get an unordered list instead. The colors here, if you click under help and settings, you see what everything means. So you could see the color of the bottle, and you could also see the status of the bottle. There are 2 different color modes. This one is a little bit hard for me to see, so I made a secondary one as well. And you also see how many bottles you have. So in this example, I have 222 bottles, and 216 of them have a position. This means that there is room for another 96 bottles in this wine rack. The 6 bottles that are unordered is shown below, and these ones I don't have in my wine rack. You could also use the find a bottle functionality. So if you click food, you could choose which food you would like to eat. So let's say that we like to eat fish, and these are the recommended types. As you see in this corner, I have all locations set, but I could also set that one to, for example, wine fridge, and that will give me the recommended grapes for bottles that exists in my wine fridge. And when you have chosen anything, you could see how many bottles you got. You could see them in like the detailed table view, or you could choose to see them in the virtual wine rack. Using this way, only those bottles are lit up. You could also choose country, and let's say Italy. You could choose which region, or you could choose all regions. Then you could choose which grape. So let's take an Nebbiolo. And in this example, I found 52 bottles. But if I change location to my wine fridge, I only have 4 bottles. Then it's pretty similar for grape. You could just choose a grape and choose a country, and you see how many bottles you have here. You could also do it on price. So let's say that the value should be below 250. And you saw how many bottles that was. So if you click on show results here, you could also filter this one. So let's say France. And you will see in the bottom that it was 17 bottles that you filtered out. And if you only want the top ratings, you could write 5/5, and that will filter out those bottles. If you then want to click on this one, you could choose to see it in the virtual wine rack. And it will show up here. Then they are pretty similar. For color, you could choose white, and then you will choose the type. So you could choose like fortified, could choose a country, and you could see those bottles. For statistics, you could choose a country. Of course, you could click on all of those bar charts as well to see all those wines. And you could choose if you would like it to be sorted by count, like the highest first, or A to Z. I usually like to have it this way, but it's totally up to you. In this one, you could also filter the results. So let's say that you want to see only on red wines. You'll see that if you look at all wines, France was higher, but if you look at only red wines, Italy have more bottles, in my case. You could also choose type and choose sparkling. And here we'll see there are only 2 countries matching this. And if you scroll down, you will see your consumed bottles. It's the same chart, but for the consumed ones. And here you have the same possibility to filter if you want to. Similar to grapes, let's say that you would just like to see which grapes you have from a specific country. So let's say France. And here you will see which grapes you have. Here you will see which type of wine you have. And you could also choose here to see from like from France, for example, to see which types of wine you have on French bottles. And here you could also choose to, let's say, my wines from the US, where are they from? Which year? Then you have the raw data, where you could see like inventory, which will just give you a long detailed list about inventory, which is searchable. So let's say that you write 5.5, that will give you the best vintages for all bottles that you have in all locations. But of course you could change that to wine fridge, for example, and write 5 out of 5 again. The buyer's guide right now just exists about to find vintages. So if you click on France and Bordeaux, you could see the best vintages. It's sorted by rating, but you could also sort it by year. And you will see the year, the rating, and the color. Using this part, you will be able to find bottles from specific vintages which are really, really good. So this is a really helpful way of using that one. The expand functionality I will come back to later when it's being released. And when your inventory have been updated in Cellartracker, you just click sync with Cellartracker and it will automatically pull the data and update. If you have any problems using the application, feel free to just click on this symbol here and you could have an online chat with me. Or you could click the menu here and click contact support and send me an email. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Bye bye.